Hello friends, welcome to the studio. Today we're going to make a really big project that you're going to be able to share with your neighbors. So you're going to be able to enjoy the art and other people are going to be able to enjoy it too. And all you need is paper from a paper grocery bag, pencil, and scissors. Before we get started, I wanted to talk to you about silhouettes and positive and negative space. First, let's talk about the silhouette. This is a book I have about all kinds of paper arts, paper cutting arts, and I wanted to show you this page because right here at the bottom you see these 4 figures and they're made out of black paper, and these are called silhouettes. The image of the person is cut to look like a shadow image. So what we see in detail are the edges of their clothes and the profile of their face. And that's how you recognize the person in the silhouette, by the shape of their nose, and the shape of their chin, and the curve of their hair. We don't know the color of the clothes that they were wearing. We don't know the color of their hair. That's a silhouette or a shadow shape. And I'm sure you've seen your own shadow many times when you're playing outside on a sunny day. This works because of something that we think of called positive and negative space. So here I have a pair of scissors that I've opened carefully. And the scissors are made of metal, but you can see this space inside the handles. You can see this space between the handles, this space here and here as well. All of this air or area around the scissors, that's the negative space. That's where the scissors are not. And here and here, where the metal is, that's the positive space, the shape of the scissors. Our project is going to play with positive and negative space. We're going to reverse them. So you're not going to see the picture where it is, you're going to see the picture where it isn't. Does that sound a little confusing? It will make sense in a moment, I promise. As I said before, you want to use grocery paper for this project. So that means you're going to cut down one side of the grocery bag from the top and then cut all around the bottom so you can cut it out, and you end up with this big piece of brown rectangular shaped paper. It's going to have a lot of folds in it, and you want to flatten your paper out again, which you could do over a day or two under some heavy books. But an easier thing to do is to ask an adult to iron the paper for you. Linen and cotton are both fabrics used in clothes, and they're made from plants. And paper is made from plants. So if you put the iron on the linen or cotton setting, and you're careful, you can iron it down and iron it flat again, and that makes it easier to work with. I have another piece of paper, slightly smaller, and I've already ironed it. It doesn't necessarily take away all the creases, but it will take away enough of all of those folds so that you can work with the paper again. So what you're going to do is cut your paper down to a specific size. I can't tell you what that size is because you're going to have to measure and find out for yourself. You want the paper to be able to fit across the glass in the bottom of one of your windows. So once you do that, then you can start working on the paper. Actually, this side of my paper is a little uneven, so I'm going to turn it around. So here's what you're going to do. You are going to cut shapes out of the paper. And those shapes are going to match the parts of your picture. So if I want to turn this into an underwater scene, maybe I want to have some seaweed. So what I'm going to do is draw the shape of my seaweed in the brown paper. This is like ribbon kelp. And you'll notice that I started and stopped my drawing from the edge. That's easier to do, to have your shape come from the edge of the paper. So now what I'm doing is I'm cutting out that seaweed shape. And now I'll cut out the second seaweed shape. I am following my pencil lines, but I'm not worrying if they go a little bit off when I cut, as long as I stay close to my pencil lines. There we go. So there. The seaweed that I cut out, I'm not keeping. This is what I'm keeping, the paper. So do you see? The seaweed is in the space between these sections of the paper. The seaweed is in the negative space. The paper and its solidness is the positive space. Over here, I'm going to draw a rock because my picture is going to tell a story. Now you'll notice that my rock is not perfectly round and smooth. It's bumpy. The edge of your object is going to tell us what it is. So you want to make that edge as interesting as you can. Now, hiding behind this rock is going to be a shark. And I'm going to draw the shark so that he looks like he's coming into the picture. So here's his fin on his back, and here's his swim fin. And I can't draw his eye because that's inside the shape of his body. I'm not drawing his tail. That's out of the picture. I want it to look like he's just arrived. But I can draw his mouth open to eat. Okay, so even though I drew the shark with lots of shapes and lines, I'm going to cut it all out. So I'm cutting away the shark. I'm cutting away his teeth. I'm cutting away his fins. And see, you can still see the shark in the picture. Now here's why the shark is hiding behind the rock. Because there is a little fish here, and this shark is hungry. Now you'll notice that this little fish does not touch any edge of the paper. That could be a problem, but it won't be. I'm going to go ahead and cut through the paper up to my fish, And then I'm going to cut out my fish. You wouldn't want to do this a lot in your project. Try and keep the pieces of your project starting and stopping from the edge of the paper. But if there's something that can't be anywhere but in the middle of the paper, then you can use this technique. When you're finished, you can see that the paper will go right back together and that cut will mostly disappear. And now I have my little unsuspecting fish, doesn't realize that there's a shark behind him. The last thing I'm going to do is change the shape of the top of the paper to make it look more like waves. And again, you can make this more interesting if you make your edge have variety. So big waves and little waves. So now here we have a negative space picture in a positive piece of paper. And the reason you made it the size of the glass at the bottom of your window is what you want to do is you want to take this over to your window and use clear tape, invisible tape, to hold it in place. You don't want to use masking tape or duct tape because that will show. And what I like to do is line up the paper with the frame of the window and then put the tape down like this so that it can't be seen. And you can see here that the tape is helping these two cut pieces stay together. Now this is not a window, this is my light board. I'm going to plug it in for you so you can see what will happen. When you put this piece of paper in your window, the light is going to shine through. In the daytime, the light is going to shine through from outside, and you will see the reverse silhouette of your picture. At night, when your lights are on and it's dark outside, the light will shine from your house out, and so that means people in other houses nearby or people driving by in their cars, they're going to see your picture. You can make a picture of anything you like. It could be a real place that you visited on a vacation. It could be a place from your imagination. Your picture can even tell a story. Have fun. I'll see you next time.